Today's guest is a visionary thought leader and the CEO and founder of Xponential Intelligence Science, a groundbreaking field dedicated to the study and application of dimensional consciousness for the advancement of humanity. With a profound focus on eliminating human suffering and awakening consciousness, our guest, Masati, leverages his unique understanding of quantum physics, space time, and the power of frequencies to guide individuals toward profound transformation. Having experienced 3 near-death experiences, Masati emerged with extraordinary abilities and knowledge far ahead of our time. These experiences ignited his passion for exploring the deeper realms of human potential, leading him to develop exponential intelligence, or otherwise called XI, as he'll refer to in the episode, a transformative methodology that empowers individuals to achieve real-time life changes. Through XI, Masati works on the core frequency level, helping to redesign and reprogram one's blueprint to materialize fast, tangible results in all the areas of life, including health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Over the past 14 years, Masati has shared his expertise with a global audience, reaching over 100 countries through his speaking engagements, podcasts, and personal sessions. His work has consistently led to life-altering results, with countless testimonials attesting to his ability to clear layers of distortions, awaken latent potential, and manifest abundance effortlessly. So, I love this kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see what is going on here. And if you are a Gaia subscriber, he has an episode on there also talking about these things you might want to check out. But yeah, I don't think it's unless you're new to the podcast, it's no surprise that I am a fan of psychedelics when used appropriately, and they've been very meaningful in my life. And I was so happy to finally get to ask someone who has had a profound near-death experience, and in his case, 2 of them, if they have done psychedelics and what was the difference. So he has. So that was like, yeah, I'm obviously geeking out on that a lot in the episode. And yeah, this may be weird for some of you guys. It may be super interesting for some of you guys. And if you've been listening to the show for a decent amount of time, you know that I like to explore all the realms of possibilities. So this was really cool. He kind of starts doing an energy read on me during the show. He's like, you can cut this out if you want, but of course I'm going to leave it for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Here is Masati. This episode is brought to you by Peluva. So Peluva, Peluva, those are Mark Sisson's new zero drop minimalist shoe with that distinctive 5-toe design. I have been loving them. I've been a longtime fan of barefoot shoes, and I was very resistant to the little 5-toe articulation personally at first, because just being real, I thought they looked really nerdy, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I love Mark so much and I get what he's doing, but I'm not wearing those nerdy shoes. And then Brad Kearns, who's also involved with that project, was like, no, Tara, you got to try them. Tara, you got to try them. Tara, just come on, try them. And I tried them, and I kid you not, I enjoy them so much that I actually like how they look now. Weirdly, I can tell. So like the purpose of that 5-toe articulation is so that your toes can move more dynamically. So with other barefoot shoes, like I've been a long time fan of Vivos, and I'm still a big fan of Vivos, but they have just that big toe box, right? Which is awesome. So I didn't really feel like the 5-toe articulation was necessary, to be honest. But as I've worn them, I have experienced how awesome that is. It was actually been quite surprising for me. And I wore them this morning. I wear them all the time, and I'm really, really enjoying that freedom of movement on my toes. So, yeah, Brad and I have been going back and forth. I'm like, dude, I actually love them. And he offered to sponsor the podcast with Peluva and also offer you guys a 15% off code, which I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I will gladly introduce my people to Peluva shoes. So you can use code Coach Tara at peluva.com, or you can just go to peluva, peluva.com/Coach Tara, and you can get that 15% off discount. Make sure you snag some of the socks while you're there, because you're going to need the toe socks. Okay. All right, let's get into the episode. Okay, so Masati, almost dying more than once is what brings us here today.
Yes.
Would you
Mhm.
mind sharing your story of how you got to this place of what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, Tara, I was searching for the meaning of life when I was younger, late teens, early 20s, searching for the meaning of life. And that's really the key because there's a lot of people who have near-death experiences, but they don't know how to process it. In fact, there's
Mhm.
every day or yeah, every day there's tons of opportunities for us to awaken again near death, but we don't know how to process it. So it kind of spirals us downward into our old patterns, society's patterns. So what
Mm.
I've done over the past 3 years, over the past three near death experiences, is accelerated my level of consciousness, so I can help tens of thousands of people, really create a different reality. So what I've done, again, really understanding, really wanting to know why near deaths happen, or well, let's just back up. It wasn't even about an understanding about near death, but I just wanted to know what makes humanity tick and what is your optimal version of what you could be here. Okay.
Mhm.
So kind of like the Einstein, he goes, well, what's that equation of life that dictates happiness, completeness? You don't
Mhm.
have to age like, people do and so on. So I went down the spiritual or religious path. I read a lot of information out there, but there was a lot of missing pieces. There was more exceptions to the rule than what should be, because in nature, there is really no exceptions to the rule, right?
Mm.
Gravity works on the same for everybody, all that. Even definitions of love at the highest principle, it works on, the same for everybody. So that first near death allowed me to understand, say, the deeper concepts, or actually even before that, that what we're doing as a society isn't working really out well. So, and then I went flipped over to go, well, I'll become really, really successful because that's what people want, right? If you become
Mm.
successful, then you've got everything. And that's what today's society is. And I'm going, and then back then, we came from a well-to-do family, and my father was a doctor, and he I saw a lot of like dignitaries and people at high level, and I'm going, God, they're just messed up as everybody else.
Mhm.
So it's like wealth,
Mhm.
power, fame is not working.
Mhm.
So I wanted to know it so bad that the universe basically said, do you really want to know? And I go, yeah, I really, really want to know so bad. So watch out what you wish for. So that's when I had my first near-death experience. It was a warehouse job, unloading rail cars, for college. And one day, the day seemed kind of off. It was, an auspicious day. Everything was going a little off or a little distorted. And so they have these moving walls inside the rail car, just, time, uh, work time. And I offered to climb up and like unlock or pull on the walls as my teammates pulled on the bottom. And then what happened there is like they kept pulling and all of a sudden it gave way. And I
Mhm.
slid across, inside the rail car. I slid across. You can imagine like a half-ton wall just moving across, the rail car. And my head is what stopped it. So, so my jaw got crushed
Oh my
between the
god.
ceiling member and this wall, and just like, and almost immediately I stepped out and I was looking at my body. So I
Mhm.
wasn't in any pain or anything at all because I had disconnected completely. So there's
Mhm.
different levels of near death, but I was floating, just like a genie, and I'm going, damn, that must really hurt. You know? And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, well, wait a second, why doesn't it hurt
Mm.
if I'm still here? And then I realized I was dead. Literally, it's like, gosh, I'm dead. And that's all the weight I gave to it. Literally, like, oh, I'm
Mm.
dead. It wasn't emotional or anything like that. But
Mm.
at that time, Tara, I saw the limited version of who I was and
Mm.
who I was. Again, I would say 1 or 2% of our possibilities. But then I saw the grander version, the 98% of who we are, the potential that we all feel as a child deep inside, right? We all feel that potential deep inside as a kid. But then it dies off, unfortunately. And then the 98% was so brilliant, so pure. It's like, gosh, I want to go that way. I didn't even think about, oh, I'm leaving everybody behind and so on. It's like, see ya. And that's how most people think about it. It's like they don't want to
Yeah.
come back, because they
Mhm.
see their potential.
Mhm.
And at that level, I went through a life review, and that life review really taught me on, how things work because I was super conscious even at that level. So basically it's training grounds. It's like this is why you're here. This is what's happening for you. The life review, most people think, like, I don't know, Saint Michael's is there, an angel is there, and they basically go, you're either going to go to heaven or to hell and all that stuff. That cleared up for me because, religious texts and so on that I've read. It's like it's not about that. In normal life, you're going through it as a preschooler, kindergartner, and you don't know, what the hell's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like you're at a graduate level going, oh, that's why all these things happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the biggest takeaway was there was so much love at that level.
Mm-hmm.
It's like way beyond, what we could experience here. I think your
Mm-hmm.
circuits would literally explode because it's so
Mm-hmm.
euphoric,
Mm-hmm.
at that level. But the thing is that as I stepped away, I relived from say the moment of birth, maybe beyond that. I don't remember that part, but up to 22, I relived about 22 years of my life, and I'm going, how could I relive 22 years of my life in just a flash? And then that's where time and space got really important for me, or understanding how time and space can be compressed, expanded, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's like, gosh, I really want to stay here because it's so beautiful. Life actually made sense. I want to stay at this level. And there's always a booming voice. There's a boo. It's like, yeah, you can stay here, or you can go back. But it's not really a choice, although they think they give you a choice. But as soon as they go, you can go back, you feel like you're getting pushed into your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you get pushed into your body, and that's where, I saw myself drop to the floor, and then I blacked out. And then the next thing I know, I was in the hospital with my jaws wired shut. So I don't remember anything in between.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
When you say you lived those 22 years, like,
mhm.
what were there emotion? Was it more like analytical of like observing, you're reliving it, but you're observing like, oh, I see, and blah, 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 like putting dots together, or did you experience emotions again?
Yeah, you experience everything, but from a different point of view.
Mhm. Mm.
You
How,
relive life the way it should have been. So basically,
wow.
from my point of view, what I do now with people is like, oh, let's go take a look at, say that you created a movie of your life to that point. And it's like this scene back in the day, it wasn't filmed properly. There was a lot of trauma or there's a lot of abuse. Let's go back and rewrite that for you. Obviously, you can't change what happened to you, but
Mhm.
you can rewrite the meaning of it. And that's what I did. I rewrote the meaning of everything that I thought was real into what it should be.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
So
So,
just yeah, it does. I'm just so curious, like it, like a higher level of consciousness. Would you say like unconditional love is in that frequency of that higher consciousness that you were in?
oh, totally, absolutely. There is
Mhm.
no I should have or I could have or anything like that. It's just like, oh, I totally understand. So imagine, Tara, that you're in uh, grade school, right? Or like you're 10, 12 years old. Uh, and then you're an adult now. The things that you thought were important at 10 or 12, they're like so expansive,
Mhm.
like my daughters, I've got my kids, the doll's head is, knocked off, right? And it's a huge deal for them. Right. But for me, as a parent, more realized, you go, here, let me just pop that head back on, sweetie. It's fine. You don't have to cry your whole day off. Right.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like that pattern. It's like, oh,
Mm.
I get it. You know, in moments of pain and distress and even abuse and trauma,
Mm.
which, obviously you experience that, but not at extremes with people that I help. But at that level, it's like, oh, I get it. It's not that big of a deal
Mhm.
because you're only dealing with
Mhm.
2% of your uh, you know
Mhm.
identity of who you are, not the 98%. So,
Yeah, you're making me think. I just had this conversation with my son the other day. I'm like, I don't like the word forgiveness. Forgiveness just does not resonate with me because,
I hate
I,
that.
right? I'm like, no,
And
when
gratitude.
the gratitude, right? Like, I
Whoa.
get it now. Like,
Mhm,
because I'm like the traumas that I experienced, and I was in my victim stories and all that. The kid with the,
mhm.
I'm like, it's not that I forgive them. There's no forgiveness
There's
necessary.
no
Forgiveness
forgiveness.
implies that they're still in the wrong and I'm this big noble person that's forgiving them. It's more like I
Exactly.
just get it now. I see it from a
Exactly.
zoomed out perspective. And, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of that for me, and I just had to ask you this question. I'm so curious because I, like many others, have geeked out on all sorts of near death
Hmm.
experience, documentaries, and all that. And
Yeah.
whenever I hear people talking about their experiences, they remind me so much of some of my deeper psychedelic journeys. And I am
Hmm.
curious if you have also had deep psychedelic journeys. And if so,
Um,
how do they compare? Like,
oh, totally. Well, let's just go back on. I don't like the word forgiveness, and I know why you don't like the word forgiveness because or gratitude. Right now, you gotta have gratitude. Well,
mm,
we're not. And again, if you're doing forgiveness and gratitude properly, which most people don't, right? But what you're sensing, Tara, is because I can read anybody's frequencies. What you're sensing is basically is like, shit, if I forgive them, that means that I didn't learn anything. Because you're a learner. You learn
yeah,
from everything. And
right.
you're going, Wait a second. If I forgive them in society's method, that means that I didn't learn anything. They didn't learn anything, and we
Yeah,
just move on. You know,
right.
but I want solutions, damn it.
I
That's
want to
why
understand.
forgiveness, yeah, that's why forgiveness doesn't work for you. True
Hmm.
forgiveness in, say, first principle level, or the way, say, natural intelligence, as I call it. Some people might call it God, but that's gotten so distorted.
Hmm.
Anyway, so natural intelligence basically says forgive. So there's a component of you, right? A complementary component that the two of you got together that, say, created this issue that you want to forgive. So true forgiveness in a natural intelligence way is like, wait a second, what programming or what frequency did I have that allowed this to happen to me?
Right, right.
Okay. And then you go, oh, it's that deal. So you pull it out of you, literally like an app on your phone. It's like, I'm not using the app anymore, but it fulfills you. So here, I forgive. Again, forgive is like giving ahead, but most
Mm,
people, they don't do it
mm,
properly, right? So what
mm,
they do is like you give that pattern to them and then they feel complete. And then it's their choice. You are feel complete now because you don't have that receptor of, say, abuse anymore. So you don't have to keep forgiving. And
right.
then they feel complete where they go, oh, and they get a choice. Well, do I want to feel complete and, and not run those patterns? Or sometimes people throw it away and it's like, I'll find somebody else to do
Hmm.
the same thing too.
Hmm.
And gratitude, the same way. Gratitude is like, I sacrificed all my life for you, and therefore I should, that could be,
Mm.
somebody's mom, or it could be your mom. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like it. No offense. Sorry, I keep reading people. But anyway, and then you go, well, yeah, you sacrificed. So when you have gratitude, basically the burdens that they went through, they're basically going, you should have the same burdens too, and
Mm.
here you go. And that's why
Hmm.
gratitude, it doesn't work that way. You should be thankful for those individuals that, got you here, but you don't have to carry on their burdens. So that's the
Oh,
right way of
interesting.
doing gratitude. Otherwise,
Okay.
it's just a chain, a noose around your neck. And that's, again, just
Mm.
reading you, I don't know why, but for
It's almost
you,
like indebted or
yeah,
servitude.
you're indebted. Now you
Yeah.
owe me. It's like,
Yeah. I see what you're
what?
saying. Hmm.
Exactly. It's like I didn't even plan on this, but thank you,
Hmm.
and you just cut it off. So anyway, back to the other question you asked, which was
Psychedelics.
really, yeah, the psychedelics. So a near death is the most potent psychedelic you could have.
I can imagine.
Because you're out of your body because that's what you
Right.
want. You understand it, your consciousness of it, you're conscious of it, right?
Hmm.
So I've done a few, like, I'm not an avid psychedelic. Ayahuasca doesn't call me. It
Okay.
basically, when, people go ayahuasca, it's like, it has to call you. It literally is like, no, don't come here. It's that
Yeah,
pattern for
I
me.
did it once and that's how it is now. Like, and it called me and it literally was like a magical manifestation. It just, I literally got
Exactly.
it, like got invited there free, like a
Yeah,
$7,000 Costa Rica. It was unbelievable. And it was calling me, calling me, calling me. It was crazy.
exactly.
And I know that it's not, yeah, I
Ye-
fully experienced that too. It's just like, if
Yeah,
she does,
and then
you'll know.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, you learned your lesson, Tara. That's fantastic. You don't
Hmm.
need me anymore.
Hmm.
But most people don't learn their lesson, and they just keep, going back to it. So yeah, I have done ayahuasca, but I've done like DMT, 5-MeO
Okay.
DMT, which is, and a lot of people, even Joe Rogan goes, God, that thing is terrible. It's, you go through distorted feels. Well, the deal is that DMT, it is a God experience.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it takes you away like a near death and puts you into a level and go, oh, this is who I really am. But then you also see the distortion of who you're creating yourself. So you start to see the lies and the lies and the abuse and all that you put your body through. And this
Mm-hmm.
is where many people like experience those pure like DMT states, like Bufo and so on like that. Those pure
Mm-hmm.
DMT states as a very distorted or very, say, ugly experience, even in ayahuasca experiences. So yeah, I've gone through that. For me, it's just a beautiful experience. It's like God, through the near deaths, I go to a higher level almost immediately. I don't need like extreme
Mm-hmm.
DMT
Mm-hmm.
experiences, but it's just boom. It's like, damn, that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bring that intelligence or frequency back into my physical form.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do with a lot of people who do whatever they do, Blue Lotus, DMT. I've done some mushroom, but a Blue Lotus, that's a really pure experience
Mm-hmm.
as well, because it's very pure. People don't understand those experiences. You know, and then nowadays, just your readers or your listeners, sometimes, pharmaceuticals are getting into that realm
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
creating like fake
Mm-hmm.
molecules or chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go there because the intelligence of, say, natural intelligence or nature isn't in the manufactured,
Mm-hmm.
say, compounds. It might look identical, but it's missing the frequency, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're doing mushrooms, make it pure.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing even, like marijuana, uh, you don't want to get the edited version of it. You want the natural
Mm-hmm.
state. I mean, look at the music back then. Man, there was beautiful music. People were
Mm-hmm.
high. It was pure states of, LSD, marijuana, all that. So, and that's what we've done today is literally created a course called Mindscapes Unleashed, where it literally allows you to understand. It puts you on autopilot, so you know where to go to clean yourself up, heal yourself from it, and then when you come back, you're a bigger, broader expansion version of who you are, not somebody who craves, say, the other side, like a lot of people do. And they
Mm,
get better
okay.
results that way as well. We work with a lot of military people, that go through DMT experiences. We set them up properly. And by autopilot, when, like those psychedelic experiences or plant medicines, it's like going into a realm, the ocean of consciousness without a boat,
Yeah.
without a motor, sometimes without even a boat because you're drowning, but
Right.
without a motor or rudder. So
Yeah.
what we do is like, well, let's help you understand and navigate that proper.
Hmm.
And then you go up there and you get much more benefit and you can bring that benefit down into the physical form.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about your process, what you're doing now. Like
Oh,
how does
um,
it does it work? Like
okay. Yeah.
essentially.
So let's just take the, say, DMT or any psychedelic experience, any
Mm-hmm.
plant medicine journey experience. Okay. So what most people do is they think that they are they are their mind or their mindset, their identity forward. That makes sense to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
imagine this. You're at level, say, your mind starts at level 10. Okay. So just for numbers. Okay.
Okay.
So, so let's do this. Uh,
Always fun trying to put energetic things into words.
yeah. So imagine that you're a stone. Okay. And it's a compound. And then you drop a stone into a sea of consciousness, the wave. It creates a wave, which actually creates you. That's how I see space and time work. So
Mm-hmm.
you're a ripple in time and space. Okay. And then by the time you get conscious, it's literally about 10 cycles or 10 waves down. And then you realize, oh, whoa, I'm here. I'm animated. That makes sense to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
An explanation of that is who is the identity or who's the intelligence that created you before you were a single cell or before you even had a brain? So that intelligence is yours. People might go, that's your spirit, that's your timeless self. But whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's an intelligence that was there before you even existed in physical form.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
the intelligence is here. 10 cycles down is when you have a mindset and you can be an
Interesting.
observer of who you are. Does that make sense to
Mm-hmm.
you? And because we have free will, and I'm just telling you the details because you
Mm-hmm.
love knowledge. So I'm just giving you the details. So again, 10 layers down, 10 cycles down, you are get consciously and you become aware. It's like, oh, this is who I am. So when people have a psychedelic experience, they start from here because
Mm-hmm.
that they forgot all these 10 layers that created
Mm-hmm.
them, and they
Mm-hmm.
start from, so when they have a psychedelic experience or any kind of trauma is a psychedelic experience because it gets you into an altered state, and then they stay in that altered state, which is a problem. They don't come back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Most people live in an altered state. People go, I'm not going to try psychedelics because I don't want to get, max fucked up, or I don't know if I can say
Yeah,
that, but
you
whatever.
can. You
It's like,
can.
well, you're fucked up already. Because you're in an
Right.
altered state. You're
Right.
ill, you're aging the way you
Right.
shouldn't, your money, your success, it feels hollow to you no matter what you do. So it's
Mm,
like, what altered state do you want to be in?
right.
Exactly. So anyway, so once you get off the mindset, so people get on psychedelics or whatever they do, so what I do is allow them to remember who they are back here.
All the way to the stone.
Not all the way. It depends
Okay.
on how, there are Buddhist state levels that I get people into, which is a really cool experience. But a lot of people can't handle that because
Hmm.
they start to know the magic of time and space. Once you know the how a magic trick works, the magic trick doesn't work on you. So the key
Hmm.
is like, how do you know the magic and still make it work on you? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So otherwise, if you knew the magic of time and space, you would literally disappear. And most people can't handle that.
Mm.
So anyway, yeah, but I do get people into those states who can handle it. Anyway, so back to this example. So most people do psychedelics from a mind state, and they disconnect, and then they go into their altered space. Your
Hmm.
mind, your identity of who you are, does not go into psychedelic states or altered or higher states of consciousness. Even in a spiritual experience, your mind didn't go there. This is where people come back from that psychedelic state because it happened to this individual, not this individual.
Mm.
The drugs or whatever you want to call it, this is the states, the plants, the chemicals, and all that. Basically, numb your brain enough to let go of where you are in time and space, and this allows you to, say, slip back into a higher version of who you are, your spirit, so to speak. That makes
Mm.
it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So your spirit does the journey, not your physical body. And
Mm.
then when it wears off, you start to get coherent and you go, what the hell happened? And then you go, oh, it felt good or it felt terrible, right? And you have remnants of what happened, but you can't bring it all in. So what
Hmm.
we do is like we make you conscious of, hey, let's see what pebble or the shape of pebble that you're dropping into the pond of consciousness. And then you go, well, gosh, it's a square pebble, but I want a round pebble that I'm dropping in. So we edit you right at the beginning. But with psychedelics, you'll go back and again, you'll experience yourself here. And once you experience yourself here, you go into a higher state of possibilities, just like a near death. You'll come back into your life. You'll remember more through that experience. You'll remember who the possibilities are. And this way, you allow, say, you filter in or you channel your possibilities into your physical existence. And this is where psychedelics massively transform,
Mm.
your life. But you don't need to have psychedelics. I mean, our hyper
Hmm.
meditations, as I call it, help you do that. Not as deep as psychedelics. It's just a
Hmm.
lower, slower space.
So, like, is it like the actual experience of teaching someone to do this? Is it
Mhm.
like breath work, energy work, hypnosis? Like, and by the way, is this something that's in the course you mentioned in XI?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So breath work, sure, that'll take you there, but again, that's more of a physical state.
Hmm.
So it's about the frequencies behind it. So
Hmm.
I help you remember. Okay, so and I know it gets deep, but again, your
You're in
knowledge,
safe territory.
perfect. So you have an autonomic nervous system. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
the autonomic nervous system helps you with your breathing, so you don't have to go breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Your
Mhm.
heart. So there's 1,000 different systems in your body that run automatically without you being conscious of it.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's just say there's another autonomic nervous system that renders you here physically. And this
Okay.
gets into the quantum realm and,
Yeah.
all that dimensions of time and
Yeah.
space. So basically there's a system, a higher system, and I'll explain an analogy to it, but there's a higher system that allows you to go, you are here.
Mm.
And that system basically goes, you are here, you are here, you are here all the time.
Mm.
It helps you render, go, you are here and you're a human. You are here, you're a human female. And this is where all the filters that you create, you know, as a human female.
Mm.
You're here with blonde hair. That's a filter that you see as well. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that autonomic system literally renders you here, your state of
Mm.
mind, your belief systems, your identity, your traumas, how you age, all those things are predisposed, pre-programmed at a higher level beyond your mind. Your mind just processes that information here.
Mhm.
Okay. So an analogy would be most people think that they're the computer and that's it. Very powerful, sure. But without the internet that you're connected to, you're very limited to the knowledge. And that's
Mhm.
what basically, like when people go into psychedelic experience or when people want to heal themselves through medicines and all that, they think that they need to heal the computer.
Mhm.
But in reality, you're
Mhm.
getting instructions on how the computer works
Yeah.
from the internet. In
Yeah.
this case, the internet is the natural intelligence that's
Yeah.
out there. The universe that's been around for, gosh, I don't know, in this reality, 13.5 billion years, science says. I think it's a bit more, but yeah.
I call them iPhone updates. I'm like, "Oh, something going through the cloud. We got an iPhone update here."
Exactly. So that's what you want. It's like, wait a
Mm.
second, who's programming it up there? And those programs, and that's what I get into is like, wait a second, I help you access the programming level of who you are in this physical form.
Mm.
Simple. So you get it like iPhone or Android, whatever it is. Somebody programs it, and then you get the download, and you go, shit, I don't like this download. What the hell did they do? They changed everything around, but you know what I mean? I don't like it. So that's the key. You are programmed by your genetics, like parents, whatever they got, right? Your parents, then their grandparents and great great grandparents. But 18 generations deep, hun, there would have been over 1 million people that got together to create you. Think of it.
Mhm.
That's a lot of coding that you don't
Mhm.
need. And that's what society runs is because of free will. We have an opportunity to go, do you want to keep it or do you not? Nature doesn't have free will. That's why it's optimum all the time. It basically goes, hey, you know what? I want to disconnect. Basically, like from generation to generation, say a lion or whatever, a squirrel, whatever whatever the next generation is, animal. They basically look at the code and go, okay, what worked well, what didn't? Let's upgrade it and then put it into the new generation. Okay. And then the old code just disappears. So it's all updated. In humans, what happens is like, hey, do you want to take this code? Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on. So I'll just take what grandma's having, and so on and so on. So, shit, 18 generations. Again, you've got codes, duplicate codes, all this stuff for millions of people that are in your genetics. So you have to clean that out. That's why everybody feels so heavy. That makes
Mm.
sense to
Mm.
you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Their life is not their own because they're pre-programmed. And that's just one side. Then you have generational patterns, like baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Z. They all are running the same code. That's why they all do the same thing. That's why they're say categorized as one
Mm.
algorithm. Generation Z, most Generation Zs do X, do this, right? Baby boomers, they died the same way, they grew up the same way. You know what I mean? It's just a big wave that went
Mm.
through. And then you have societal patterns, and then previous lifetime patterns. So those four ingredients dictate the code that you're getting sent down into your computer. And then most people go, well, this is my computer, this is the way it is. It's really not.
Can you tell me about previous lifetime patterns?
Oh, absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't mind, and you can cut this out if you want, but you run from 7 previous lifetimes. So you're highly knowledgeable, if that makes sense to you. So for example, it's and people go, well, it's not like karma. Say like in one lifetime you were a good person, in this lifetime you're a bad person, or
Yeah, yeah,
you're a
yeah,
bad
yeah.
person and you're paying for this.
Right.
Basically, it's literally like your physical life here. Say like you have a certain algorithm or pattern on, say, dating the wrong people, for example, right? You're dating the wrong people. You keep doing it over and over again because you didn't wake up to the pattern on why
Hmm.
you're running. You didn't
Hmm.
change the algorithm. So most people's lifetimes, literally, they could be a man, they could be a woman, they could be whatever, popular, they could be not popular. It doesn't matter what it is, who you were, but basically it's like the pattern of life that you're running. You brought that over. You, Tara, brought a lot of knowledge over, and you're still trying to work with this knowledge because it doesn't make the knowledge that you have back there doesn't make sense in this lifetime. It's like, shit, I know it's there, but what do I do with it? You're kind of like that. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
That kind of deal? Or you even get into, say, ancient wisdom or ancient technologies that kind of flashes through you. Then you go, okay, so what do I do with this? So I can help you with that, understand, say, the knowledge of the past and bring you here. And then, so that way you can activate the inventions, the idea, the concepts, whatever it is, into physical form. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? Right? I mean, that's just
Hmm.
for you, but
Yeah, I've seen myself and just the glimpses deep in mushroom journeys and other. I'm like, oh, that's me.
that is you. Yeah. So
I'm like, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's
um,
beautiful. It's a lot of wisdom for you, a lot of knowledge. Um, like your past one, two, the previous, like second, third. Um, Somehow that knowledge got limited, so you had to go under secrecy and stuff like that. So.
hmm. Yeah, I've been told by other like intuitives, whatever you want to call it, like you're highly informed, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah.
See,
And sometimes it's hard for you to not want to just be in that space all the time because it's pretty
well,
cool.
it is because those lifetimes are open for you. So
Hmm.
it's really good, but then the problem is that um, that lifetime feels so much more seductive than this physical form because that's again the 98% of you. You're just embodying only 2% of your
Hmm.
identity here. So
I
so
feel
so
like I find joy in just doing a play by play,
yeah,
moment to moment. And
exactly.
I trust myself enough to just be
Mhm.
there. But yeah, no, I always joke. I'm like, I love Earth. I think it's freaking insane. I think it's so
It
cool.
is.
Like, it's like we're so confused and nobody knows what's going on. And
Yeah.
it's like the ultimate like adventure game, you know?
It is. It
So
absolutely is.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful here, the possibilities. But people like you will look at it from your higher self, an
Yeah.
observer self, looking down. It's like, oh my God, so much possibilities, so beautiful.
Hmm.
People who think, again, that they are just the computer and nothing more, and they want to access that, they're looking at it from the bottom up,
Mm.
you know
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
at the bottom level, this is where the disease comes from and all the issues that people see, because time and space is really heavy here. So you have
Mm.
to go through much more to
Hmm.
feel the grandness. So
Yeah.
instead of going through linear time, it's heavy for
Mm.
a limitless being. So what you've done is like, I'm going to stay here but live my life
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
which is great, and
Do
you
you
see
see
the
the
beauty, the
name of
possibilities.
my coaching company behind me?
Oh, I can't see it.
Higher. It says higher. That's the name
Oh,
of
higher. That's beautiful. Yeah.
it's all about that. It's
I
just,
love it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
gorgeous.
definitely
Yeah.
part of my existence. I have
Yeah.
to tell you something real quick
Mhm. Yes.
about ayahuasca. When you talk
Mhm.
about this reliving your entire life experience,
Mhm.
I had difficult parents. I hate to say it that way now because I'm coming from a different viewpoint, but
Mhm.
difficult parents, right? Like in my youth, I was like, this will be the hardest thing I ever go through,
Mhm.
right? And I had all this
Yeah.
unworked through judgment and expectation and all that, earth stuff. And when I
Absolutely.
went to do ayahuasca, I experienced what you're describing, maybe probably not exactly, but very
Mhm,
similarly,
mhm,
for both of my parents from the moment they were born through all these different life experiences. And I could feel their pain and how they wished they could be different and they're trying so hard. And I
mhm.
was feeling the whole thing through unconditional love, right? And I just
Yes.
felt, and it radically forever changed my relationship with my parents. And my mom passed
Yes.
almost 2 years ago now, and
Mhm.
I'm so grateful I had that. But I think that's
Yeah.
interesting when you say I have to say Mother Ayahuasca because she's so like
Mhm.
that. But
She
when you
is,
say
yeah.
she's like you're good, I'm like, oh yeah, because you already did it. She's
You
like,
cleaned it up.
you
Yeah.
don't need to waste it. We don't need to waste it on you. You already did this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Maybe.
beautiful. No,
Yeah.
no, it's beautiful, and, that's what I was kinda hinting at, but since you bring it up, I wanna say around 18, 19. I don't know if you left home or you wanted to leave home or whatever that is, that kind of feel, and your mom and dad literally really, really loved you, but they didn't want you to have the same life as they did. And I'm saying this because I think it'll really help, your
Hmm.
listeners, because a lot of people go, my mom and dad was this and that, and
Hmm.
I want to separate myself from them.
Hmm.
You know, but what you're really doing, and again, I'm not saying all parents are great. Some of them are abusive and all that. But again, they did the best that they did. They
Yep.
did the best that they could. And you, for
Yep.
you specifically, Tara, is like, shit, Tara, I don't want you to go through the life that we went. So
Yeah.
they kind of went. So in their love, say, frequency, they were detached from you. Not because they didn't love you, but basically it's like, if I love you so much at a deeper level, that means that you're going to turn into us. So they had that detachment frequency to you. That makes sense
Interesting.
to you?
Yeah, for sure.
And for as a little kid, it's like, well, why doesn't mom connect with me? Why doesn't dad connect with me? Why is there a space? Why is there a void? Why is there something in between us all the time? Especially when you're 10, 12 years old, you're going, damn, why is that?
Hmm.
They might do all the right things, but why is that void? Well, that's why, because they know that they were intelligent enough, maybe at a very
Hmm.
deep subconscious level, to go, shit, if we get too close to this girl, she's going to lose her light. That's why you never lost your light.
Mm.
So, so,
Yeah.
as a young girl, it's like, shit, I got to move away from this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people, but that's
All
what
the
it's
way
talking.
across the country.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in
Yeah.
Virginia and I went at 18. I left to go to school in Utah. So, yeah, and I
Got
can
it.
see that now, I see like
Yeah.
they always wanted what was best for me. They wanted me to. They
Yeah.
wanted me to live an amazing life, and I'm grateful
Exactly.
for that. They had their own
Mhm.
personal. That's the difference is now I see these were their own
Mhm.
personal challenges and I can see the love through that. And I can see the not so great moments is like those are personal struggles they're having, not about me, and
Yeah. They just didn't know how to figure it out.
yeah, exactly. And I
So,
have compassion on that. It's like, oh.
exactly. But again, you have compassion, which is great because you can learn from them and move
Hmm.
forward.
Hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of parents go, hey, I went through this struggle. You have to go through the same struggle too.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
your parents, again, were very different. They were more
Yeah.
conscious of
Yeah.
what they're sending out. I wish more people were like that. It's like, what frequency, what vibe am I sending out to people?
Hmm.
No
Hmm.
matter, you might think you're kind, because I see a lot of, I see everything. Like this mother is just loving her, newborn, and just like, and it looks so cute on camera, and it's like, oh, that's so sweet. But what I see is just like the mother's so weak and insecure, she's
Hmm.
anchoring herself on that little baby right
Hmm.
off the bat. It's like, oh, it's gross. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
wow.
And then
Yeah.
all the burdens, or when
Hmm.
people are like changing, they're young ones, all the worries, all the frustration, and all those things, you're just bleeding.
Hmm.
You're just like, you're
Hmm.
regurgitating on that kid. So again,
Hmm.
guys, mind your frequencies, what you're sending out. Start to see it, and you go, oh, I don't want to do that. And that's where you start to change. That's where your mindset like radically changes.
Wow.
I call it referencing or spatial referencing. You start to
Mm,
observe the frequencies that render you before your mind hits.
mm. Curious. Let's talk about the 10 ripples down or whatever. Is that something that after your near death experience, like started coming to you? Like, what did you experience? How much of this learning did you experience in that space? And how much of it has come since then?
Well, the first one really opened me up to possibilities. I
Hmm.
was always intuitive, but this just radically, my abilities. I understood it.
Mhm.
I got premonitions. I could understand what was
Mhm.
happening. I could start seeing people. Like I'd look at people. I was like, oh, that guy's got kidney issues.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I'd literally walk up to people and go, hey, do you have kidney issues? And it's like, who the
Mhm.
hell are you?
Mhm.
Eh,
Mhm.
and yes, I do, that kind of deal.
Mhm.
So, but the second near death, which was a drowning, allowed
Mm.
me, it was a university for me. It was a university of the, say, frequencies.
Right.
And so the second near death, it was a drowning, and I got sucked into a cenote. It's basically an underwater cave, I
Sinkhole.
guess. Sinkhole. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I got sucked in. And it was the same experience. I saw my body float down, and it's like, yeah, I missed it, but it's like, oh, good. I get to go revisit.
You're right. That's how I would be.
Exactly. It's like, oh, woohoo. Um, and I
I'm
passed through
not
the tunnel of light.
suicidal. I'm not suicidal. I'm just also not
No,
scared of death because I've been in that psychedelic space a lot. Like I'm very curious.
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well,
Just want to
yeah, no
clarify.
worries. No, that's beautiful. Because if you're not scared of death, then you know how to live properly. Most people are afraid of dying and they can't live because they're too
Yeah.
fearful of expanding. So
Mm.
anyway, so in that instance, I went through the 13 levels of, say, the tunnel of light. So the first level is where people go, oh, I met my loved ones that I crossed over. They're welcoming me in, and that's your introduction. And with each level that you go through, you purify yourself. So the
Mm.
fourth layer is where I went last time, my first near death, where I get a life review. It's like, okay, this is how you do it, or how it should be. And then anything higher than that, you go through, and eventually, because when you die, or when people have near-death experiences, or when they say, they remember their near-death experience, they always think of their identity as who they are. But when you go past, say, the 13th level, you have no identity of being human. You just are. You're just like a universe of your own. Does that make sense? There
Hmm.
is no human filter. You
Yeah.
have no shape. You have no form because you're a limitless being. You are pure spirit. And that's what I experienced. Like, holy heaven, this is like, whoa. But I was still conscious enough to understand where I was. I was on the border of space and time. I- Have you seen, is it DreamWorks, where that boy, DreamWorks pictures, where that
Yeah.
boy is sitting on the moon and he's fishing?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So basically that was me sitting on the edge and
Mm.
seeing space and time and go, whoa. So I was seeing spirit, again, infinite being, seeing physical form. I'm going, whoa, that's so cool. It's the most blissful state ever. But
Mm.
at that level, you have access to all the information that ever was, present, future, past, because there is no time and space. So everything is available to you. And what I've done through, again, a lot of teachings that I was embedded in or remembering, I brought those teachings back into this reality.
Mm.
So I don't channel anything. I just am. And we all are that way. So I help people remember, their natural state before human filters came through. So
Mm. Mm.
I forgot the question, but
No,
anyway.
well, I have another one now.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say first, I'm not going to say how much because I have to be mindful of my influence,
Yeah, no
but I
worries.
did a lot of LSD at once, one time. Okay. It was a
Okay.
lot. It
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
way, way, way more than like the normal.
One, two,
Okay.
three, four, five. Yeah. You
And
got into, no offense, but it's almost like you got into 5 near death type experiences from what I've seen, or overdose
mm,
type frequencies.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely have a fearless side, and I did my research. I'm like, I'm not gonna die from this. I'd like, but yeah.
No.
Anyway, I was everything. That's what I experienced. It was like
Yep.
I was everything, and the only way there were no emotions, there were no thoughts. Like the only way I
Mhm.
could describe it is if you took the word yes and just made it keep expanding. Like
Yes. Exactly.
that's the only way I can describe it, and that
Yeah.
was what helped me understand on a personal, visceral, if you will, like
Mhm.
understanding of like when people are talking about we're all one and universal consciousness and all that. I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, that, right. I felt like I was the fabric of everything that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you bring up a good point because people down here, physical form, go, yeah, we're all one. We're not. We're not all one down here. But just know that
Right.
we came from the,
Yeah, yeah.
same space. But most people go, oh, we're all one here. And this is where society has gotten so messed up that we can't even tell, like, hey, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm this. And yeah, you're all that, sure, whatever it is, and everything in between, because you're rendering yourself without the filters of, say, human identity. So this is where people get confused on who they are. This is where, their sexual identity doesn't work out. Either, even being, say normal, whatever normal is today, there's no normal.
Hmm.
This is where people have success and it doesn't work out well for them. This is where people are really religious or spiritual and it doesn't work out for them because they're bringing in their own definitions of oneness. Once you experience the oneness here, you feel whole and complete here, but you are in linear time, so you experience that infinite limitless being one moment at a time.
Hmm.
Most people, when they go through that process or psychedelic journeys and all that, they think that they can experience all those things at one time and they're limitless down here, and it messes them up.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, you go to a buffet and you just cram your food.
All right.
You're eating everything at once, but
Yeah.
time and space allows you to eat a morsel at a time and really enjoy the
Hmm.
moment. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, when I first found psychedelics, it was exactly as
Mhm.
you said before. I was like, I'm going to figure it all out. I'm going to,
That's
no
cool.
other human has before, but I'm going to figure
Yeah.
it all out. And then I realized, like, no, you're not, because you're not, it's not designed that way. Um,
Well,
and
you can. You've done enough psychedelics. I think with proper, exponential intelligence, XI training, right?
mhm,
Again, the knowledge is there for you. You just have to put the puzzle pieces together.
mm,
So XI gives you, say, that intelligence to go, oh, this is how it works. This is how it works.
mm.
And then you can expand into those possibilities. So
And
what
exercise course format, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exponential intelligence. It's actually turned out to be a meta science. In the beginning, it's like, whoa, this is really cool. I can edit people's, diseases and stuff like that. Or, people heal them from the craziest diseases. I mean, there's tons of people that have healed themselves of cancers and, life-threatening situations, or they've changed, they've made massive success and all that. Again, I'm not claiming anything, but basically what they've done is they've remembered who they are and let go of who they're not. And this is where they can heal themselves. It's like, gosh, I don't want to have cancer in this lifetime. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
yeah,
Mm.
and they switch. Um, but yeah, those opportunities or those possibilities on how you again handle or reprogram yourself to experience what you want here, those are available for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were were you saying, I guess in either of your actual near-death experiences when you were in that window,
Hmm.
did
Yep.
you see beings?
Not in the near death experiences. I didn't see beings, but in my DMT journeys,
Uh-huh.
I did see
Me
beings.
too. That's why I'm asking DMT
Yeah,
specifically. It
yeah,
was like round table telepathic communication
yeah. Like
vibes.
grand beings. Like damn.
Yeah, and I can't
Yeah,
really
it's
make out
beautiful.
what they looked like or anything, but
Yeah,
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 okay.
yeah. But
Hmm.
there is like say a presence or an intelligence always around you, even in my near death experiences. But again, you remove the filters, and you wouldn't even have a consciousness to understand if there were beings around you, so to speak.
Okay.
If that makes sense. In a DMT experience, you're still connected to a physical form, which gives you a reference point to understand, oh, there's beings around me.
I
Does that make sense
see.
too?
Right. Yeah,
But
it's
if
kind
you
of like,
remove everything and you are everything,
yeah.
you wouldn't know there's no separation. That's why you wouldn't
Right.
see beings because you are
The,
everything
yeah.
available. So, yeah.
Wow. How, so I'm just so curious, like how long were you like from Earth standards time out when with the drowning?
The drowning, according to my wife at the time, probably 8 to 10 minutes. I was
Oh, wow.
underwater. Yeah, so
Okay.
quite a long time. But the cool thing is that when I came back in, when my university training, I guess,
Yeah.
it literally like a full, PhD level or more training in that time. On the other side, it was like I don't know, more than lifetimes. It was like I don't know how long, like forever, but it doesn't feel like forever, you know.
Right. Because there
But
isn't such thing as forever.
yeah, yeah, it's forever here, but then it comes down to like 8 to 10 minutes here. Okay. Um, but the cool thing is when I was done, I came back in and I found myself. about 100 yards above river, looking at my inner tube that was still getting stuck in the sinkhole because it was too big, to get pulled in.
Mm.
And I'm going, gosh, where am I? It's literally like a hand came out, boom, picked me up out of the because I was pulled into the bowels of the earth. Literally, it was lava tubes. So just imagine
Okay.
how deep
Right.
they go.
Yeah.
So it's like I was literally pulled out and like boom, placed in a quiet part of the river. It's like I'm going, what happened here? No
Wow.
recollection. So somebody definitely loves me up there, or
Yeah.
the being
And,
is obviously.
and
Uh,
want you to be here.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That was a training. Boom, you're
Hmm.
done. Let's take you out, put you back into the physical world. It was really beautiful, and there was no. I wasn't like choking. My fingers were bloody. My back was bloody because I was trying to physically not get sucked in. But
Hmm.
other than that, it was like completely coherent, and everything was in bliss. I went through a traumatic experience, but it's like, whoa, it's so beautiful here.
Wow.
Because you get to see the purpose of why you created this reality the way we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. So
Oh, thank you.
it's not even like, how should I say? It's a lot of work to get out there constantly and be sharing things,
Hmm.
and I find these
Absolutely.
perspectives so invaluable.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing with us and for doing all that you've been doing. And I'm definitely going to check out XI. And I'm just trying to pull up the
Yeah.
website is
Yeah.
thexicode.com.
thexicode.com.
And
Yeah.
then,
There's a lot of YouTube videos, free YouTube videos for people who are new. And I would suggest that first, because what I do is really intense for people. Like decades worth of therapy in like maybe 15 minutes. Literally, that's how long it takes. So it gets pretty intense though, because you still go through the same process, but in
mm,
15 minutes versus decades. So I would suggest the YouTube XI Masati.
XI Masati, yeah, like his
Actually, you can
guys.
just go to masati.live and it'll take you to the YouTube channel. And there's tons of videos on why things
Okay.
happen the way they do, all those things that people ask about and what you can do, how you can
Mm,
improve. And that way you understand the concepts of XI. And then that's where, the XI code, you can go to the XI code and you can
okay.
sign up for the newsletter. You get a download, hyper meditation, I call it AM/PM hyper meditation, which is actually really good. You'll feel the frequencies, and you go, "Damn, this does go beyond the mind."
Mm,
So you can,
cool.
people can try that. But yeah,
Cool. Wow.
yeah,
All right.
and
We'll link that up, guys.
thank you. And again, you've been such a fantastic host, highly knowledgeable. So thank you for asking
Yeah.
fantastic questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Inside Out Health Podcast. I hope it's been helpful to you in your journey. If you think that it might be helpful to someone you know, please share it with them. Please share on social media. It really helps me grow the show and reach more people with these amazing messages. And if you could be so kind as to rate the show and possibly even leave me a review, that really helps. So, much thanks in advance if you do that. And yeah, please subscribe if you want to hear more of this type of content. I have lots of amazing expert guests on the way. All right. Thank you.